I don't open any emails like that from anybody except for yours, and maybe I'm sure there's maybe a couple others, but a very small group of providers or vendors that I would ever open up an update email from. So it definitely is testament to your team's ability to just consistently apply that VOC that we were talking about and making the platform better.
What if you could build a business in the modern world as big or as small as you want without having to compromise the things that were the most important to you in the very beginning? This is the Wealthy Consultant Talks podcast with Taylor Welch and Mike Walker, as they share with you today their learning lessons from stories and their experiences over the past 10 to 15 years and share with you right here, right now. Let's get into it.
All right. What is going on, my friends? Mike Walker here, and another episode of the Wealthy Consultant Podcast. Thank you for joining me today. I have a special guest with me. I do, and you're going to like it. Because if you run a business, if you like clients, if you like the idea of making more money, retaining those clients, and all things regarding, nurturing and creating an exceptional experience for your clients, then what we're going to talk about today will certainly be of interest to you. So I'm glad you're joining us today. Mr. Luke Gibbs, how are you, sir?
I'm doing good, Mike. Thanks for having me. Excited to be here.
Absolutely. So you and I have been working together for a little bit of a minute now across multiple different businesses and all these things. So it's good to have you on. Thank you for taking the time out with me today. And we're just going to jam on all things community, online communities. That's really what the main topic of today is. And you are certainly an expert in that space. Can you give a little intro on yourself, your company and everything that you do on that side?
Yeah, absolutely. As you mentioned, my name is Luke Gibbs. Currently, I am over partnerships here at Circle. And so I actually came to Circle just over 2 years ago, and I started on the sales team. And so the fun part about being on the sales team is essentially over the last 2 years almost, I did like 12 or 1,300 demos. So I was able to talk to 12 or 1,300 different business owners that were moving into the community space, online creators, Fortune 500 companies, and essentially just kind of learn from them like why community is important to them and why Circle is important to them, and really just kind of see the progress of this kind of community-based business trend over the last couple of years. And then just recently, about 6 months ago, our company is starting kind of a new part, which is to bring in partners and to essentially kind of have that channel sales motion. As we know that there's a lot of companies just like yourself that are working with a lot of their customers that are also looking for products like Circle and solutions for their businesses. And so that's how we ended up here.
Love it. Yeah. And so just for you guys, if you're not familiar, Circle is a social online community platform. It's such an awesome tool. We, in fact, there'll be links in and around this wherever you're watching this information. But it's the community that we run. The chamber, our highest tier of consultancy, is run on Circle, the platform we're talking about today. And also our monthly publication that we do, the Consulting Digest, is also there. And so we run our communities, we run our curriculum, the courses, the live calls. There's so many cool things that kind of combines. It just, brings all the different resources together for the client experience. And so it's made our lives easier. That's for dang sure. And so I'm excited to kind of jam with you on some of the more technical elements of communities. Tell me, you mentioned something kind of interesting. I want to dig into a little bit. You said, you talked to such a wide variety of people that are using online communities, Fortune 500 companies, all the way down to probably the mom and pop stuff, startups phase stuff. What is it about the online community element that you're seeing from such a wide variety of people? How is it that such a wide variety of businesses can utilize this type of platform?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think a lot of it has to do with companies and creators and just the online space in general moving towards wanting more connection with who they're purchasing from, essentially. And obviously, there's a lot of direct-to-consumer businesses online. There's Amazon. There are businesses where you can go on and just subscribe to any type of software subscription and never even have to talk to somebody. And I think a lot of companies are really realizing that those days of, hey, let's just get them on our email list. Hey, let's just, run an ad and they'll buy our product and whatever, are kind of going down, just because retention and recurring revenue is what people are really looking for. And in order to kind of drive retention and drive recurring revenue, you have to have closer contact with those customers. And that's literally everybody from like even brick and mortar mom and pop shops, like you're talking about, to online creators that were creating courses and making maybe $100,000 or $500,000 on one course, but then having to rebuild their customer base next time they had a course come out, all the way up to Fortune 500 companies that, yeah, they're making all this money and they have all these customers, but they're like at arm's length with everybody and they're trying to get closer to them. And so I feel like that's where community is really connecting all of the customer base or the followers or whoever it may be with the actual creator, business owner, manager, or whoever it might be within the company. And so that's kind of how I see community and Circle, essentially kind of bringing all those diverse customers to the same place for the same product.
Yeah, no, it totally makes sense. One of the things I talk about inside my book, The Exceptional Experience, is the power of community and the need for someone like myself, as I run the client services department here at the Wealthy Consultant. Our entire intent and focus every single day organizationally is to create that exceptional experience. And that comes with community. It comes with understanding what the clients need. And one of my favorite elements is being predictive, not just reactive, but actually predictive of what they want, even sometimes before our clients even know that they want it. And one of the key features of that is VOC, right? Voice of client or voice of customer. And your online community platform allows for you to extrapolate insights into the psyche of your existing customer base and realize, wow, I'm starting to see a trend. Multiple people have said such and such, or you can just kind of get a feel. If you're inside those communities, you can start to get a feel of the pulse of the community, where their attention is, what topics are most popular. I mean, there's so many cool features, analytical features of Circle. Maybe we can go there a little bit without going too deep into the weeds, but I feel like it's an important distinction, when we talk about quote unquote online group. I mean, everybody and their mom has like a Facebook group nowadays, which are great. They serve a purpose. We have one for the Wealthy Consultant. It's very much just a public facing, place. But when it comes to actually nurturing high value relationships with customers in particular, I feel like a more intimate experience is required. And that's obviously what Circle provides. And one of the cool elements that supports all of that are these analytical tools that I just mentioned. So could you maybe talk a little bit about, you and all the engineering team on your side? What do you guys look at? How are you guys addressing the evolving needs of the client in that specific area of analytics?
Yeah, great question. So very similar to what any business would do, we listen a lot to our customers, right? So that's kind of where things start. We have our own community where we're able to gain these exact same insights that you're talking about, where we can actually see in what are our customers asking for, where are their pain points, what do they need to really understand their own communities and to run a business. And then the nice thing is we actually also need that same data. And so we are kind of looking at ourselves and saying, okay, what analytics do we need to run a community just like our customers would? And then we kind of put that into practice. And so, we have kind of everything from very generic and base analytics that you would expect to see anytime you have a software with your people in there. How much are they logging in? How much time do they spend in there? How many monthly active users? If you have the app, how many people have it downloaded? How many people log in daily? Like all those kind of very main kind of touch points are all in there and expected. And then we also have kind of the middle layer where we're actually starting to dig a lot deeper and having more advanced analytics where you're actually able even to see more of an activity score and understand how active holistically your members are. Not just are they logging in, but are they engaging? Are they commenting? Are they posting? Are they liking? Are they actually being involved in the community? You can filter by those kind of different activity levels and metrics, and then you're able to actually get a better segmented idea of what your community is doing. And And then the other really cool thing that I love about Circle is we actually give you the ability to really pull out what you need and what you're looking for, even through kind of more technical means with like our API. You can even do it with Zapier, pull it into kind of your own reporting, and you can pull it into your CRM and have that be part of your actual company reports if you want to, and enables you to really see anything you want to see that way as well. And so
I love
a little
that.
bit of everything.
Yeah, I love that, man. The activity score, I'm a huge fan of the activity score. We've implemented that into our client services tracking, where we review it on a weekly basis, and we're monitoring up and down, the flow, what I call the energetic flow of the community, because I view that activity score as, again, very much a predictive KPI, because we have direct data that supports the idea that retention is a direct result of activity and engagement. We know that if they are in our community, joining the calls, posting in the group, making connections, sending DMs, etc., we know if they've adopted the platform on that level consistently, that their retention, they're not going anywhere. Like, it's become an ingrained piece of their business, just like maybe having Slack would or whatnot. So that's what we're going for too, is to get that adoption level up. How would you say, obviously there's a lot of different online community SaaS solutions out there. How do you guys as a team organizationally position yourselves in the market? How do you distinguish Circle amongst all the other choices out there, and what makes Circle better, or at least unique against all those competitors?
Yeah, that is a great question. So this is one that I got all the time on the sales team, right? Because people would be coming in, they'd be looking at different softwares, and they'd always ask, well, what makes this better? And why would I choose this over another platform? And I like to answer it kind of this way. So number one, it's by far easier to use as a customer. So as the actual person that's setting up and building the community, far easier to use than the other platforms. Now, that's not coming from me. These points are actually 100% from my conversations with actual people that were either leaving other platforms or looking at other platforms. And once they use Circle and set it up, they're like, this is far easier from an admin perspective to actually set up and build. So that's been a huge thing for people, because obviously your time is super valuable. You want to be able to set it up right and have a good experience for your members. And that's the second point, which is it's far easier for your members to come in, use, and understand, which is key for engagement, key for retention, key for your metrics to actually be hitting the way you want them to. If your members don't know how to use it, they're not going to use it, right? They're not going to log in. Doesn't matter if you have an app, doesn't matter what you have. If they don't understand how to use it, they're not going to open it. And then the last thing, and I think that this is kind of overarching in kind of the industry, the thing that we are going to always do and really kind of just take over on this point, which is the speed at which we listen to our customers and build and develop new features that help our customers run and grow their online communities and businesses. And that's really just kind of what it comes down to is you kind of already mentioned off the podcast to me, and I've heard from a lot of other people, we continuously ship great features. And I would say far more than any of our competitors, and at a much faster rate with higher quality.
I would definitely vouch for that, man. I get excited every single time I see the email from you guys, the latest releases or whatever. I don't open any emails like that from anybody except for yours, and maybe I'm sure there's maybe a couple others, but a very small group of providers or vendors that I would ever open up an update email from. So it definitely is testament to your team's ability to just consistently, apply that VOC that we were talking about and making the platform better, which, by the way, is why we here at The Wealth Consultant are just so bullish on not only adopting the platform to serve our client base, but also implement an entire done-for-you feature within the consultancy that we have for our chamber clients, where we'll actually come in and build out their Circle community for them. Get it started, get it off the ground, remove the complexity from that process, and that's allowing now our clients to enjoy the benefits of building their communities, fostering their client relationships online as well. In fact, no joke, just 2 hours ago, about two and a half hours ago, I was on a call with one of our chamber clients, and she was making the move from school over to Circle. And she's one of a handful of clients just this week alone who are now migrating over from other different solutions out in the marketplace over to Circle, just because they really like how we're set up. I will say that we put a lot of time and attention into how we've built it out for our community and our clients. And it certainly makes for a good billboard for them to want to adopt for their company. Where do you see the future of online communities? It's such it's kind of the tip of the spear, right? In terms of the client relationship and the retention game that we were talking about earlier. Where do you kind of see the next few years going with all this stuff and AI and VR and all the different things? Like, I'm sure you guys are probably brainstorming and projecting forward of what you want Circle to be able to provide in the future.
Yeah, great. Another great question. I can't speak too much to.
No, I know. I can't spill the secrets. I get it. Give us a little something though, Luke. Come on.
But I can tell you a couple of my opinions on like where I see community going, and then also, a little bit of kind of industry stuff and potential features and things like that. So in general, we have seen a huge uptick in large companies being interested in communities. And by large companies and organizations, I mean like large internationally known universities, Fortune 500 companies. Like when I started, we had zero of those conversations just 2 years ago. And now we're having those conversations weekly almost. We're seeing this kind of uptick in, we need to be closer to our customers. We want to own the conversation. So instead of just, let's say somebody high up at NVIDIA searching Quora or Reddit threads to try to find product information, they now have their own community where they actually are getting information from their members inside their own community, and all that data is owned by them essentially, right? So I'm seeing community be used as a center for centralized data for companies in the future. I think that's a huge part of what community can become. I also think that you're going to start seeing companies, in my opinion, I think I'm going to start seeing companies actually build a business model with community. So we're seeing this right now in the nonprofit space, where nonprofits are essentially, one of their big goals is to receive donorship and grow their fundraising, right? And the best way to do that is, instead of, again, running a big campaign and hoping people donate once, is build a recurring donorship model. And that's an entire segment of the whole world in business is nonprofit work. And I think we're going to actually see the same thing in regular business, where instead of just building a community to hold people online and then hopefully sell them something else, we're actually going to see businesses building a business model with recurring revenue with a membership. And I think that's actually going to become a core function of business, instead of they have just a product and community exists so they can talk about their product. The community is actually going to become a product. So I think that's going to happen. And then as far as features are concerned, AI is kind of an interesting one, because I've kind of felt the kind of public opinion sway on AI, where on one hand, AI is incredibly helpful to write content, check content, and maybe even in moderation, right? And I think that's probably where you're going to see AI in the future from Circle, is heavily more so on moderation side than building features that are going to allow you to run a community hands off and just let it respond and do all that kind of stuff, because that takes away the core of what we were built on, which is connection and community, right?
Connection,
humans. But I do think that it has a great place in moderation. I think that the ability for it to understand what somebody's trying to say in a sentence, instead of just put keywords in and moderate keywords, it actually has more of an understanding of what a person's saying, can actually help with moderation much, much more than just keywords and things like that. And so I think that's where you might see Circle kind of re-enter the AI play. We do have some AI stuff for generative text and being able to, write posts if you need some help with that, or give you ideas and prompts, and transcriptions is a huge one, and summarizing things is a big thing. And so that all makes sense. But from my perspective, I don't think we really want to take away that human element and have everybody in the community always be like, oh, is that actually so-and-so talking to us? Or is that an AI bot?
Yeah, especially in like a sophisticated environment like ours. In fact, I was on a sales call earlier this morning with a an AI implementation company, and they for an entirely separate project. But we discussed that exact same thing, is that, we've done some outbound testing of different AI tools and stuff. It's just very obvious when someone's talking to an AI, or if you're being responded to as AI. It's just, there's a subtle kind of removing of that human connection that happens there. So I'm definitely with you on that. Well, this has been awesome, man. I mean, like I said, I'm already super excited about everything that Circle is doing. I'm very grateful for you and the team, and consistently creating new, or rather adding new features and optimizing what you guys do, because it allows us as an organization to optimize and deliver even better for our clients. So excited to continue to grow with you guys. Like I said, inside of the Chamber Consultancy, we have an entire implementation program for Circle. So for those of you that are considering coming into Chamber, just know that we actually have a great relationship. We'll connect you with Luke and his team, and they'll walk you through the process of building all this stuff out for yourself and for your own business. Any closing statements, Luke, in terms of just anything that you want to talk about Circle, or anything that you feel is important that someone should know about what you guys do as a solutions and as a provider?
Yeah, that's a great question. Honestly, I think I've shared most of the things I want to share. Though I guess the last thing is just that as I've been here 2 years, I've just been incredibly impressed with the rate of progress of the company, but also just the satisfaction level of both the employees and the customers, and how we deliver for both. And it's been super fun to be a part of that. And my favorite part of this job is that, and I take this pretty seriously, is that people that I'm working with, we have a company that is actually providing a way for people to either have primary or secondary income, essentially. And so a lot of the people that I work with, I take it really seriously that what we're working on is the way that they provide for their family, right? The way that they provide for their life, and that we as a company also have that in mind as we're building features, as we're creating our platform. And then it's not just a business, but we're actually helping you run your businesses and be successful in your own lives. And that's a big task. There's a lot of software companies that just sell software that, just help very large companies become a little bit larger. But this is something where we're actually, helping people to potentially change their lives. And it's been something that's been really fulfilling for me and for everybody here at Circle. And so just know that as you're becoming involved with Circle, that's one of our main goals as well. And so it's been awesome to be a part of that.
Super cool, man. Super cool. Awesome. Well, hey guys, be sure to check out the information that will be in and around this podcast, or this audio or video, depending on how you're consuming the content. And also my book, The Exceptional Experience. It's talks specifically about the power of community. You can find it on Amazon. Just search The Exceptional Experience by Michael Walker. Check it out, because there's a lot of things. It's not about me trying to pitch you a book. It's about the fact that we've distilled, literally decades of intel on how to develop quality relationships and the retention play. Luke spoke a lot about how there's, the MRR, the monthly recurring revenue play, is such a valuable piece of any company's strategy. And we go deep into that in that book, and then connecting you with Circle and Luke's team here will certainly be a part of that. So Luke, thanks again for joining me, man. This was fun. Great jamming with you. And we'll be working together. So I'll be seeing you in the other channels. And everybody listening, thanks so much for joining us. And we'll see you on another episode of the Wealthy Consultant Podcast. See ya.